I am joined by PokerSasha, who I'm just gonna call it out, guys, is starting, like, she has gained, I think, what we would like to refer to as legendary status. I have had multiple people come to me and ask me, who is this PokerSasha? Who is PokerSasha? Like, the name got out there somehow, this mystery woman, before I think people fully understood her story. But you guys, the PokerNews family, is going to know the whole story within the next hour or so. So welcome to the show, the mystery woman, PokerSasha.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. Okay, so I think it makes sense to just dive right in. Your sort of like pinned tweet at the top, I think, is very intriguing on your Twitter, which basically claps back at anyone who wants to say, okay, you're hot, you probably have a poker boyfriend, maybe you have a poker backer, whatever. Claps right back and says, like, I had a very, good job, a six-figure paying job, and chose to pursue poker because I love this game, and it has nothing to do with anyone except for my own self and my own journey. And I think this is something probably plenty of women experience, but it's also a bold choice for your personal experience to choose poker when you already have a great job, because poker is a very different and difficult life. So for the audience, let's talk a little bit, first of all, about what your life and world was like before you chose to pursue poker professionally, and then how you sort of found yourself in this world, which we're happy you did.
It's actually funny because everything started from poker. Okay, so when I first became obsessed about poker, I already have because I'm the type of person that when I do something, I don't want to be mediocre. I don't want to be one of them. I don't want to do the stuff that other people are doing. I want to be one of the best. And I think that it stems from me growing up with possibly 20 cousins. They are all boys. I lost count. There's just so many. They're all boys, and I have an older brother. And so my parents, like, I never owned a single Barbie doll because my parents just figure like it's a waste to just buy for me. I wouldn't be able to pass on to other siblings. So everything I did, like growing up, I just play video games, competing against my brother and my cousins. And it's just a nature in me to compete with boys. And I've never felt like I could do anything less. I never felt like I am weaker or less stronger. I never just had that doubt. And when I first discovered poker, I actually didn't like poker when it wasn't like a love at first sight or anything. But a few years later, when I've started to get like amazed by poker, I was like, wow, like this is something that I find so fascinating. This is a competition, is something that I feel like I can do well, but I really didn't know how to. I had no friends, I didn't know anyone. I was just watching a lot of poker on TV back in the days when poker after darks, and I see all these people like poker stars and people playing poker, and I felt like I want to do that. I want to be one of the best, but I didn't know anyone. I didn't have any friends that played poker, and I didn't know how to get better. And being an introvert, I just didn't feel like I think I know a lot of people went on like 2+2. That's how they started and find like poker friends and so on. But being a woman, it is a little difficult in that aspect because it's just much harder to find people who are willing to share with you and who are willing to travel with you or get better with you. And so, and then after one trip to Vegas, I figured a smart way to get better at poker, and that is to become a poker dealer. That is one of the easiest way I could think of at the time. And I thought it's brilliant because these poker dealers, they watch so many hands every day, all the time. And that would be a great way to learn poker. So, and I didn't care about the wages or the job itself. I just wanted to get better at poker. So I instantly flew to Atlantic City. I went to a poker dealing school. I learned how to deal poker like very quickly because I had the passion for poker. I already knew how to play poker. I just need to know how to deal poker so I could watch people actually playing and get better. And then I flew to Ohio, pretty much instantly got a job as a poker dealer and started from there. And very interestingly, because my goal was to learn poker, and I watched everyone was well, other my coworkers, they were there for maybe money or just to have something to do. I always focus on everyone, every hand, every decision. So when someone is thinking of a decision, I would look at them and think of like a guess what their range is and like what they could have, and guessing like whether they really had the value of bluffing. And then I will like see like if I was correct. And so I would just like watch every decision, every action, pay attention to what people were doing, what their tells, like how did they look nervous or excited. And that's basically how I got better at poker in the beginning. So I read so many people, like so many hands like per hour. And also because I really care about poker. So I was there, not for the money. I really care about the game. So I would say that like I was there to protect the game integrity. I really care about how many hands I could deal for an hour. And of course that would be better for me, for my tips. And so I was a fast dealer, and I really always protect the game and the rules, like try to enforce the rules and so on. And I think people appreciate that. So like I always got a lot of tips. And like I said, like I'm just someone who, when I do something, I want to do it really well. I want to be one of the best. And funny story, like the very first month when I started dealing poker, I was not only getting a lot of tips, but I dealt my first bad beat. And I remember like a lot of poker dealers that had dealt like for over 10 years, they've never dealt a bad beat. I dealt my first one within the first month. And I remember that day, my tip was like 4,700 or something. That was a good day. And then like immediately within 2 weeks, I dealt another bad beat. So I dealt back to back bad beats. And I was making a ton of money. I was able to watch a lot of poker and learn poker. I was having so much fun. That was like my favorite gig. And I was doing it part-time, so I could fly or drive to other states and other places to play poker when I want to. I was just really flexible. Even though I was never able to tell my parents that that's what I was doing, because like how Asian parents, they value education, especially my dad. And I had a master's degree, so it's just not something that he would approve, or any of my friends would approve. They would think that, what are you doing? Like, are you just, but I didn't care, because for me, I wanted to get better at poker. I wanted to be one of the best. Remember, that was my goal from the beginning. And soon after I started dealing poker, like not very long, and there was another new casino that was about to open in a like nearby area. And so obviously that casino was going to take over all the business. So all of the poker dealers went on to that casino to apply for a job. And so did I. I thought that I wasn't one of the best yet. I wanted to learn more, and money didn't hurt. I was making pretty good money. I was pretty free with wherever I could do. And so I applied for the poker dealer position. And during the audition, they pulled me aside. They were like, Sasha, you have a master's degree, you speak a few different languages, and you have this and that because I had marketing experiences before. And they said, well, we think that you should come work for us in our marketing department. And I was like, well, but I just want to play poker. My goal is to get better at poker. I want to stay in poker. So if you want me to start this full-time position, you know, your salary had, like, everything have to make sense. So, and I was like, it was kind of maybe, I don't know, maybe arrogant, I don't know, but my heart was just not in there. I wanted to get better at poker, and I just didn't forget that. And so they ended up giving me a very good contract. They gave me a senior exec position, even though I had no experience. But and this is what I told them. I said, look, I'm someone that I know that if I do something, I'm going to be one of the best. That's just in my nature. It's not, I'm not saying it as like cocky or anything. I just would give everything I could to be one of the best. So like, if you want me to spend my time in this, like, you just have to make it make sense. And so, yeah, they end up giving me a very good contract and a very good title. And I basically bypassed a lot of years that people would like have to go through to just go up to the rank. And so it took me a lot of time because it was a full-time position. It was very stressful. It was a lot of pressure, but I really gave it my all. I ended up, I always had the highest numbers. I brought in so much money for the casino. And so within just a few short years, I was, so I ended up working for 2 more different casinos, and I was headhunted to become a director of casino marketing. So within a very few short years, I moved up very quickly, and I'm very fortunate, of course, but I really gave it my all. I was working so hard and just doing everything I could to make sure I crush. And then, so life was good. I was making a lot of money. I was, like I said, I had a 6-figure salary, lots of bonuses. Life was just really good. I remember working as high up in casinos. I had a like almost like a credit card, but obviously I don't have to pay. It's just straight from the company. I could just eat at any restaurants in the casinos I want any time of the day. And I had my own team working for me. So it was a very comfortable life. And I ended up even considering buying a house, to a point where I actually went house shopping. I found a house that I like in the area, and my mortgage got passed and approved, and I was about to sign a contract. And that's when it hit me. Like, if I sign this contract, I'm going to be stuck doing this job for at least, I have to keep doing this for at least 10, 20, 30 years. We don't know. And although like I work for a very good company, I work for a tribal casino, and they treat us like family. They really, like, if I wanted to, they would never fire me. I could just have this job, like good job forever. Could have this good life forever, and really living the American dreams, right? I'm an immigrant, so like, if this is not American dreams, I don't know what is, because I've really come from a long way. And like, but it really just hit me, like, my goal was to get better at poker. This is how it all started. I started working in the casino because I wanted to be one of the best poker players. And what am I doing? Like, if I were to buy this house, I have to be stuck at 10, 20, 30 years. And that means I will have 30 years where I won't be able to play poker anytime I want to. And so when I was working, I was like, almost every weekend, I was driving anywhere, like everywhere, like out of states, 3-4 hours to Vegas, to other states to play poker tournaments. or cash games, but I wasn't able to play anything that lasts more than obviously 1 or 2 days because I had a job. And so that's when it really hit me, like, is this really what I want? And it's not. Like, yeah, everything is comfortable, everything's good, but that's not what my dream was. That's not what my goal was. Like, I had forgotten about it because I got so comfortable for a few years. And that's when it hit me, like, it's still there. Like, that's how it all started, and I shouldn't forget it. So and so with I thought about it, and I talked to my parents. I talked to my mom, actually. At this point, I have never told my dad that, like, I was playing poker. I really didn't care, but my mom thought it was a bad idea. So I talked to my mom, and she supported. She supported this idea. She wanted me to just do what would make me happy. So within a week, I went into my vice president's office and given my badge. I said, I quit. I want to play poker. And everyone thought I was crazy. Like, everyone thought I was crazy. Like, but I think in my mind, I was just like, I was always trying to wait. I tried to wait for the right moment to pursue, like, my dreams for so long, and almost for too long. Like, you always, like, I always had this fear in my mind, like, what if I fail? Like, what if I can't win? What if I can win? Or what if, like, I'm not good enough? What if I don't have enough bankroll? Like, there's always something at the back of my mind that, like, what if people just don't, like, make fun of me? What if, like, my parents hate me? What if anything? And I think that just let that stop me for too long. But, like, and I just remember, like, this is just what I want to do. Like, I've started this journey all because, very simple, I wanted to be better at poker. I want to do this. And like, have getting to a point where I'll almost buy a house and settle down is just that hint to me that like, it's time. Like, if now is not the time, it's just never going to be time. I'm always going to have an excuse to not do it. So why not now? Like, now is the time. I've worked so hard for it. I've made quite a bit of money from poker as well. I was pretty comfortable with where I was, and so I was pretty sure I could make it, basically. So then, yeah, so I went and resigned, and I started playing poker full time since that day.
Okay, that's an amazing story, first of all. Like, really crazy. And it is so interesting in life how easy it is to just get sidetracked sometimes. And there's, like, this sort of funnel in life that, like, all of a sudden someday you can wake up and be like, wait a second, like, how did I even get here? And
Right.
I think that's such a I'm a person who very much admires and respects and appreciates bold decisions. And I think quite often the universe rewards bold decisions because they are the most valuable decisions you make. The things that don't obviously have EV, but that they speak to your heart. Okay, so I think if we're just, like, taking it from that moment, for the traditional person, even who just loves poker, standard journey starts and ends for the most part with No Limit Hold'em. But you are at this point, I would say, a notorious PLO player. So I want to know how you ended up in that space, and especially in a space that I think is even as much as poker is not dominated by women. I think PLO, it's an even smaller section that includes women. So I'm not going to be surprised that that's where you ended up, but tell me how you ended up kind of in that world.
Right. It's correct. There are even less women, like fewer women in PLO, but I think, and from the very beginning, when I was playing on Full Tilt, and when online was still available in the States, I fell in love with mixed games very quickly. And it's because I've noticed very quickly that people make so much more mistakes in mixed games. And it just blew my mind. Like there are so many more better players in No Limit Hold'em, but in like in PLO or in other like stud or Raz, all those games I love, and people just make so many mistakes. And I wasn't even the best. I wasn't even very good at the time at all, but I could just still spot the mistakes that people were making. Like people were just getting so light. So I just love that there's just so much potential and possibilities in the games. And also like when I feel like No Limit Hold'em, it's more soft, especially now. And you have like people, so like you can't really deviate from playing a certain style or a certain type of way. And you can't really deviate from that so much. So the end result is like everyone plays kind of the same, like eventually. And I, like I said, I'm just someone that I don't like to be the same like everyone. I like doing my own things. I always try to think of something to be more creative, or and it's not always a good thing, but I just hate being one of them. And so I felt like in PLO, and it's obviously not solved yet, and a lot of people are very new and less experienced, and just because of that you are able to adapt and like change in a lot of situations, because like if nobody is playing by the book, right, then you have to constantly try to be on your toes and figure out ways to be this player costs too much, this player costs too light, this player is too tight, this player is too aggressive, and so on. Like you just have to figure out ways to like how to take each player's money, like different ways in different situations. And to me that feels and my personally I feel like that's a true competition where it's nothing is similar. Like everything and every situation, every hand, every position, it's just a new question, and it's just a new question that's waiting to be answered. And to me that's just very fascinating.
Girl, you're gonna make me fall in love with some PLO over here.
It is the great game.
Listen, and some of my favorite people in poker are humongous advocates, and also some of your teammates. In fact, Jane Andez is like definitely one of my favorite guys in poker.
Right.
But so you make the bold decision. You sort of specialize in mixed games in some sense. You have had plenty of success, both financially, but also I would argue that you were kind of like a dark horse in some ways, in terms of like, for most women, I think people see their face before they know their name, just by virtue of the fact that women's faces tend to stand out in this industry. But I feel like somehow your name started making the circles, and people started talking about you before they really knew who you were and what you were about. And then not long ago, you were signed by Gigi, which, they are clearly a face in poker that's, or at least a platform in poker that's really changing the game, making a lot of, like you, bold decisions. And so to talk to me a little bit about sort of becoming a real face in this game and a name in this game, and signing a deal with the biggest, newest poker company.
Right. I definitely feel flattered because I'm in this because I just really love this game. I want to play, as I've said, and I really didn't care much about anything else. I'm sort of very much a lone wolf in this game, and I just like doing my own things, playing poker, and that's just my passion. So I wasn't like constantly out there like posting pictures and so on. I post like what I do, basically just a way to journal what I do. And so when they approach me, I remember the first question is like I said is, I don't have to stream, right? Because that's just not what I want to do. And I told them straight up, like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I think, and it's probably, probably, I don't know if they get these requests, but I think one thing that struck me was they want to grow PLO, and that instantly just clicks with me, because one thing that I really want to see is obviously see more people love this game and play this game, because there are just there are so many tournaments out there, and it's the more games, PLO games there are like obviously more opportunities for us, not just for me, but for anyone who play PLO. Right now, you have a lot of no limit hold'em tournaments that where you can say was the same buy-in, you can win hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, and in PLO, there's just not a lot of opportunities like that. So I would just really love to live to see one day that there will be a lot more PLO players, and that takes a lot of efforts from not just players ourselves, but also some of the platforms and medias and so on. And when Gigi approached me and told me that they want to build PLO and they want to grow PLO, and that's just something that really instantly matches like what I vision in my mind, and that's just something that I want to work for. And so that just hit me, and I was instantly on board.
And we know that what you put your mind to tends to go well. So I have no doubt that the PLO explosion is on its way shortly. And so
I might have made everything sound like it went smoother than it was. I actually had definitely had a lot of struggles and a lot of, adversities along the way, a ton. But I think because like I'm just I'm very hard-headed, I'm very stubborn. So if I want to do something, if I believe I want to achieve something, like anything that happened along the way, like if I fail, if I make mistakes, and none of that just don't matter. Like I probably will cry and whine and all that, complain for a little bit, and then like the next day I will get up and I'll just keep going. It just doesn't stop me. I'm just stubborn like that.
Listen, anyone that's down to go to poker school and become a dealer to see more hands and to know the game better clearly is not afraid of hard work. And it's not like, it doesn't seem like it was just easy. That's for sure. That doesn't seem like an easy route or easy path. But you can even see from, I watched some previous interviews you've done, and like you can see just from your social medias and things that you're like a worldly person. You have results, everywhere from Taiwan to like Ohio. You were in Vegas for a while, and now you are in Germany, which I was wanting to sort of see, like, what are you doing in Germany, and what's your, next sort of, what does the next 6 months look like for you? What are your goals? Are you coming to the series?
Right. So before the pandemic hit, I actually met, and it was everything just aligns in a kind of a mysterious way. So before the pandemic hit, I actually met someone that, so I was basically mostly alone by myself in Vegas, doing my own things. I really didn't allow myself to be involved with a lot of people. Basically, well, because first year, basically, when I moved to Vegas, I was scammed for a lot of money by one of my closest friends, someone who I consider my family. So I didn't really allow myself to get close to a lot of people, or to trust a lot of people. And I was fine with that. Like I said, I'm an introvert. I like spending a lot of time with people that I really love and care about. And so I was basically all by myself in Vegas, and I play poker. And that is also why, like, a lot of people say, oh, like if you're really good, why don't you play like high stakes and so on, and why are you grinding like small to mid stakes? And it's just like, I just really didn't want to deal with staking, like deal with people. And I wasn't very good at that. And two, like, I just don't want to feel like I'm in awe of someone. And yeah, so but right before the pandemic hit, I met someone that I would say is the love of my life. He is just the kindest person I know. I like out of anyone I know in my entire life. He just has the kindest heart. And he happens to be German. So and so during when the pandemic hit, we traveled to outside of Vegas because there's no games in Vegas anymore. Live poker shut down. And he's also a poker player, although um, he doesn't play the same games or anything like that. But then we traveled to Taiwan, where I was born, and we traveled to Germany and a few different places together, to play online or to try different things. And I just find that I was very much, I can't say over Vegas, but I feel like I really needed that change of scenes now, where I have like, because before when I was younger, like I just wanted to go out there and explore, do my things, like to make it, or like do something bold or something, right? I didn't care if I was alone or anything. But I think now I'm just at a point where, like, I really appreciate and value this like support system. and and like I said, I was doing it all by myself, and now I have him and his family. And I was with my family for a while as well, and I just realized how much I miss that, having people who really love me and care for me, and to just be there for me and to just support me, especially in poker when you have a bad day or something, and just seeing them and just to remind you that life is still good, like I still have so much. And I just really really enjoyed that. So like, after some discussion, we decided to, like, since live poker in Vegas hasn't come back yet, and so we decided to just maybe make the move to Germany, where we have his like family, who like I become so close to. I love his family, and they become my family now. And so like we just have this support system here. And yeah, so everything is just working like falling to pieces, like working together. And I always love Vegas, but I think this is just where I am now, where this is what I need as well. And for my peace of mind. And even for poker, like here I'm able to play a lot more online, which and allows me to play every day as well. Like we like I said, like, we know like how much I just love playing. I love the game, and I wasn't able to do that in Vegas during the pandemic. And now obviously live poker is back, but like with live poker, you can only play one table at a time, and sometimes there's not games, especially for PLO, because there's just not a lot of player pool, not a lot of games, not a lot of different stakes that you can play. So and I still enjoy it. I play almost every day in Vegas, but now I have like this huge selection. And yeah, so I just really love being able to do that, play online poker every day, and have like a quiet and like a loving, like kind of comfortable life here as well.
Girl, that's the way sometimes I think the universe rewards when you make bold decisions. You know, you're like choosing to do the best thing for you, and then the universe gifts you someone that wants to share that life with you.
Right.
And you like completely lit up when you were talking about him. So I am super happy for you. I think that's like those are the blessings and the things that, you know, matter the most. And I think it's one of the interesting things that's come from COVID that maybe people didn't expect. I've talked to so many parents, for example, who got much closer to their children and now are, you know, much more concerned with spending time with their kids than like returning to their traditional work environments, or families who came closer together. And you know, as many bad things as I'm sure came from this, I think an equal amount of good things have come. And
Right.
clearly for you, and Vegas will be there whenever you want it to be.
Right.
It's always there. And you know, for us as, you know, fans and audience of you, I'm just really excited to have like gotten to know you better and gotten to know your backstory more. I love you like a million times more than I even did like an hour ago, and I had already quite a deep respect and appreciation for you. So I appreciate you so much taking the time and so much sharing with us. And I'm really looking forward to watching the rest of your journey in poker and in life.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time talking with me, and thank you for listening.
Yes, girl. And like, I'm ready for this PLO revolution. Literally listening to you talk
Let's
about
go.
PLO, I was like, oh my gosh, I think I love it too. I don't know. I'm terrible. I'm going to be one of the people making all the mistakes, but I will of course follow you. And for my, you know, for the listeners, for the audience who I'm sure are also, if they weren't already now, huge fans of you, where do they find you? How do they follow your journey? What's your name online, etc.? All the things.
Sure. You guys can find me at PokerSasha on both Twitter and Instagram. I journey some of my poker playing over there. So if you guys want to follow along and see my updates, you can definitely check it out.
PokerSasha, it's a good follow, I'll tell you guys. Honest, candid, real, legit, and plenty of poker on there. Thank you
Oh,
so
thank
much,
you.
my darling. Enjoy the rest of your evening over there in Germany with your man and his family.
Thank you, Sarah.